Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Kristy Jansen, and we are part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day. Get us all focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, sit back and read a book-worthy podcast. Today is Friday, the 12th of November, 2021. Hi, Kristy. How are you today?
Hi, Summers. I'm well. I'm feeling pretty uplifted.
Good. I'm kind of giddy, excited too.
Yeah. Should we talk a little bit about our hashtag campaign?
Yes.
Hashtag World Elevation.
Yes. So I think Kristy and I talked about it that a while ago I was interviewed for a podcast and they asked me what my methodology on world domination was. And I said, let's go ahead and flip that script. I would like to talk about world elevation. And I came back and I told Kristy, I was like, I came up with this great phrase, which I'm sure I'm not the first to use. However, we are committing to wholeheartedly at the Optimist Daily. So we are expanding our social media footprint to include the hashtag World Elevation. So if you're out there on the socials and you see something good for the world and good for change, hashtag World Elevation. And Kristy, I think our guest today gets that hashtag, don't you?
Yeah. We're bringing Ken Lindner back, who's a friend of the pod. He's a friend of the Optimist Daily. We talked with him last year, I believe, about his last book, which was called Career Choreography. And now he has a new book, which we just were talking about, a little mini promo we did with him. But Summers, why don't you?
Yeah. Ken, Career Choreography was really about defining goals and intentions and setting your path in designing the career that you want. This time with Aspire Higher, we're learning about designing the life you want. So the full book title is Aspire Higher, subtitle How to Find the Love, Positivity, and Purpose to Elevate Your Life and the World. Hashtag World Elevation. So Ken, welcome back to the pod. How are you today?
I am great. It's a pleasure to be back with you. And I've got to tell you, I am so in sync with you both and Optimist Daily because I'm all about world elevation and I'm all about finding solutions. And that's why I wrote Aspire Higher. So we are in spiritual sync.
I love it. I love it when we're in spiritual sync. Now, quickly for our audience, we'll review a little bit about you. Ken is the founder of PositiveLifeChoicePsychology.com, among many other positive accomplishments. Now, Kristy loves that he has a background in social anthropology and that he's also super knowledgeable about how to be an effective human being. In our previous conversation, Ken got really vulnerable and honest about his experience as a kid, and our listeners loved it. It also reminded Kristy and I that vulnerability in podcasting is sort of what tells the story. So Ken, just so you know, we're really grateful for what you taught us the last time you were on. Now this time, I think we're going to get some advice. Kristy, what are we going to get advice on?
Well, I think one of the things I like about your book, and I know you're going to talk about it, is about how it's about life choices and about how to choose in such a way that you can design a life which brings you closer to what your inner goals are, your inner aspirations. But no matter where you are on any given day, you can always reevaluate and reset. And every day is a great day to choose to make it the best day it can be, right? So I think that is something that was speaking to both me and to Summers. I think there's something in there called a correction day that Summers and I we were talking about it amongst ourselves the other day. Before we go there though, Ken, do you want to talk about why you're writing this book right now? And then maybe blend into there about a correction day and what that means.
Absolutely. Well, we talked about finding solutions. As far as I can see, we're all subjected to so much negativity these days. You hear about stories regarding shootings and racism and political division and rancor, and you've got COVID and the devastating effects of global warming. You've got so much negativity bombarding us that I believe no matter how optimistic you are, your feelings of optimism and positivity, can dwindle with all of this going on. So I wanted to find a solution. And I heard so many people say, we need more love. We need more positivity. We need more civility in our country. And I so agree. But nobody had the solution to take us from where we are today to where we aspire to go. And I believe the solution, and this is why I wrote Aspire Higher, is all about making positive life choices that reflect your highest self, your highest values, and your highest goals. Because when you start to do this, you start to feel really good about yourself. You feel like you are starting to take control of your life, starting to put your life on a far better path that is reflective of your highest self. And you begin to get the confidence that you can affect positive change with your life choices. Your self-esteem begins to elevate. Your feelings of self-worth elevate. Your self-image elevates. And you begin to feel really great about yourself. And when you start to feel really good about yourself, and that you deserve and are truly worthy of the life that you're starting to live and carve out for yourself, you start to love yourself. And with feelings of self-love, I really believe that when you love yourself, you're far more likely to bestow love and civility and mutual respect and all good things on others. So you not only elevate yourself with positive life choices, but you are organically led to elevate others. And I believe that's the path to peace and love and collaboration in our country.
I'm so with you there, Ken. And I think just earlier this week, Summers, we were talking about when you're feeling kind of down or anxious. One really great way to get out of that is to act out in an empathetic way for other people, to find somebody you can help, somebody else you can help, and it helps to quell your own anxiety. But the follow-up question I wanted to have for you, Ken, right here is the other piece in your title is about love and positivity, but it's also about purpose. And I think that is a really key component to figuring out how to be your best self in the world, because purpose and meaning, I think, is one of those and those are two different things, but that's what makes you feel like a whole person, I believe. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about purpose as well.
Oh, I would love to. One of the things that I believe is so important is finding out what you really want in your life. What are your greatest goals? What will make your heart sing? And they're goals and dreams that are yours, not your spouse's, not your parents', not your teachers', not your employers'. They're yours because it's your life. And as the founder of Positive Life Choice Psychology, I believe that our lives are like train tracks, in that the trains go where the tracks take them. Our lives are a reflection of our life choices. Our choices are key, but the choices that you make should be, once again, reflective of your highest goals. So I think it's so important to take time to figure out what you really want in your life, what you really value, what I call in Aspire Higher, your truth and your gold. It's really important. Your truth basically are your goals, your dreams, and your truth is who you most want to be, the person that you can most be proud of. So if you can take some quiet time a lot of quiet time if necessary, to think about what you really want in your life, you'll be far more successful in making life choices that are reflective of your highest self, of your highest goals. It makes sense. So it's really important to know what you want in your life. And very much like a heart monitor monitors the progress of your heart, what your heart is doing at a particular time. I think it's important to do this on a regular basis because as we grow, as we experience different things, we change, our values change with knowledge, with experience. So it's important to continually monitor what will make your heart sing.
I love that, Ken. I think it's so valuable to remind people that we are iterative, that we're not stuck in mud, that our goals change, that our perspective changes, what we're introduced to and exposed to help us change. One of the challenges that I hear from people is that they feel stuck in the mud and they don't have time or space or place to think about bigger goals because they're just in survival mode. And they're just in sort of batting off the negativity mode. What do you recommend and what does Aspire Higher give us as a tool to help people who feel like they don't have time to actually figure out what it is that they truly value?
Well, there's actually a chapter in Aspire Higher about how to jumpstart your life. And to me, the way to do it, it's almost like learning how to play a sport like tennis. You start very small. You just hit the ball very gently. You don't throw the ball too far away from the person who's learning. Very much like that, start making small, positive life choices. Start to get some victories. Start to get some confidence. Start to get some swagger. Feel like you can start to take ownership of your life. Start small, get bigger and bigger with your life choices. But I think that's a really important way to get yourself out of, being stuck, feeling mired, feeling like you just can't get out from under. And so many people, by the way, are feeling this. I spoke the other day, and this is sad. I spoke the other day with the head of a hospital chain on the East Coast, and he said to me, we have never seen so many attempted suicides because people don't see a way up or a way out. They don't see, life getting better. And so I really believe it's so important to just start making choices so that you gain the confidence that you really can affect positive change. Because when you're dealing with things like the negativity bias, which scientists say looms in all of us to varying degrees. And what that means is we can hear 3 positive things about ourselves and 1 negative, and we will focus on and obsess about the negative. We are hardwired to focus on the negative, and they say this is because years ago this helped us survive, to focus on the things we need to be concerned about.
Right.
Yeah, even on a biochemical level. I mean, I think cortisol is as a neurotransmitter is like far more powerful than the oxytocin and the dopamine that comes from the positive, the happy things, because that's like the normal state, right? The negative is those are the things that could harm you.
No question. And here's the thing: if we're already being bombarded by negative things, if we're already starting to either spiral down or be stuck, the negativity bias of looking at the negative and focusing on the negative can really hurt us. And that's why I feel that the way you combat the negativity bias is by having confidence that you can affect positive change through your life choices. And you know what you want by taking the time to figure out what in your heart of hearts means the most to you. It's really important. And also, it's really important to make cognitively clear decisions and not let your emotions, your potentially toxic emotions, cloud your best judgment. Because we all know when we're angry, when we're sad, when we feel resentful, when we feel like we've been dissed, when we feel lonely, when we feel needy, we tend to make choices that make us feel good for the moment, but they are counter most times to the things we really want, the things that will reflect our highest selves and our highest goals. So again, it is important to know what you really want, because if you can envision it and know that you have the power through your positive life choices to accomplish all of your goals or many of your goals, you'll be far more likely to be disciplined when you feel like you just want to do something out of your emotions. And if I may, one of the things I talk about in Aspire Higher is a story that involves Tiger Woods during his heyday, when he was winning so many big tournaments. And Tiger, going into the final round of this very big golf tournament, was down by 5 strokes, I believe. And he wound up winning the tournament by 1 stroke. And after the tournament, the commentator went to Tiger and said, how did you do that? How did you psychologically turn that all around? And Tiger succinctly and confidently answered, well, I knew I could do it. I'd done it before. And the key is he had the confidence because he had done it before. He had the knowledge he had done it before. So if you could start making positive life choices and you see the sweet results of those choices, you see that you can elevate your life, you're far more likely to be able to negate the negativity bias, be disciplined in your life choices because you've done it before.
Yeah. I
Right.
think it reminds me a little bit of like in martial arts, you go slow to go fast, but
Yes.
that's the practice, right? You keep making those movements, those little choices, and then you build a muscle memory of positive life choices, right?
That's absolutely 100% right.
So I want to touch, Ken, on for just a moment emotion and impulse management, EIM. Now, I'm going to just read a tiny little excerpt here. In description on EIM, basically, it's to not make decisions when you're charged, right? Optimally, you want to accomplish to master the art of making beneficial life choices free of emotions and impulses that can trigger you to make poor, destructive, or poisonous choices. It goes through many steps here, but step 2, and I think if everybody had a takeaway from today's conversation, it's do not make major decisions unthinkingly. React to a person, event, figuratively or literally press the send button when you are enveloped and hijacked by potentially toxic emotions and impulses, or when you feel emotionally off. It goes on to talk about stopping, relaxing, taking a moment. But what I want to add and talk about with you a little bit is how we find a tribe to help us have better emotional impulse management. I know that Kristy and I, as collaborative leaders together, have gotten very good at when either one of us is triggered, even by each other, but more often by outside forces affecting the success of our business or relationships or, news or anything that affects a business. We will share with one another that sort of unfettered initial emotional response so that we're not left with it and the other one of us can kind of check the other one, right? Like, hang on just a second. Don't
talk
send
talk
that
each other
email.
down.
Yeah, we talk each other down. But I love that part of the book where we talk about EIM. And tell me a little more about your exposure to emotional impulse management. Have you had an experience where you have personally accidentally gone off the cuff and wished you hadn't, or found yourself holding back and glad you did?
Well, yes. I mean, I have made mistakes I've made many mistakes when it's come to my emotions. I mean, there are times when I will just react and say something that I wish I hadn't. It's because in the heat of the moment, I'm so angry. I'm so hurt. I'm so, as we said, enveloped in emotions that I just did not think about what I really want out of the interaction. I just reacted because it made me feel good for the second. Then I went, oh my God, I can't believe I said that or did that. So, I've seen so many people hurt their lives, hurt their careers, because they weren't, as I call an aspire higher, consequence cognizant. They weren't thinking about the really bad consequences of just impulsively acting, as opposed to cooling down, taking a breath, taking a walk. I mean, not everybody has the blessing that
Right.
Kristy and Summers have, where you can talk each other down and cool each other off. Oftentimes we're alone. We have to be more emotionally intelligent.
Right.
So, and just going through a little bit about that, first of all, it's not the emotion that is toxic or positive. It's the expression of it. You can get angry, but it's whether you express it and how you express it and when you express it that makes all the difference in the world. So, I mean, if you get angry and hold it in, that's fine.
I think it's important to know that you're angry. Sometimes people don't even know. It's having that pause and being, I guess it's kind of goes back to emotional intelligence as a bigger concept. And that's what your book is teaching or advising people. And question for you though, and I know that you go into this in Aspire Higher. So what if you don't hold it back? What if you make a mistake? How do you restart? Is there, I think that you talk about something called a correction day. And I think that was a concept that I really loved. And I even loved how you explored it in the book.
Well, correction day to me means so many different constructive things. For example, we all make mistakes. And the key is what you want to do is continually assess your behavior. It's very much like, I'm a tennis player. And when you're on the tennis court, you have to continue to assimilate information. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Is the sun bothering me? Is the sun bothering my opponent? Am I winning? Why am I winning? Do I stick with the strategy? Do I not? Am I losing? What do I need to change? And for me, life is like that. I want to continue to be a student of life. I want to continue to assimilate data throughout my day and throughout my week and throughout my life. And that is, what did I do right and continue it? And what did I do wrong? Or how can I be better? And to me, it's not only correction day, but it's correction hour or correction whenever I need to correct, because I want to continue to evolve. I want to continue to be the best me that I can be. So I'm continually correcting, and that means being honest and objective. Don't, hide from yourself that you may have done something wrong. Because the first step to winning is sometimes you've got to lose. Sometimes you've got to learn from your mistakes. And I've learned more from my losses and my mistakes oftentimes than when I did something right. So the key, I believe, to evolving is always honestly, objectively assessing. And if you need to correct, then correct it and be better the next time. Just keep growing. As long as we live, we want to keep growing. We want to be the best person we can be because we want to be proud of ourselves. We want to feel good about ourselves. I know when I make a mistake or act poorly or am insensitive, I feel badly about myself. And that doesn't make me feel good. It certainly doesn't lead to making better decisions. When we feel good about ourselves, when we're proud of ourselves, I just think that leads to confidence and high self-esteem, and we make better choices in the future.
Right. So I love this, Ken, and this actually taps into kind of a parenting strategy and wifing strategy that I deploy, which is trying to teach my daughter consequences, not fear, and trying to lift shame from decisions, right? So making a bad decision, one shouldn't be ashamed of their bad decision. Certainly we can have remorse for our bad decisions, because they have negative impact, right? The consequences are negative impact that can hurt other people or can lead us to not have the success that we wanted. But instead of all of this weighted shame and fear, if we look at consequences as outcomes and not emotional triggers, then we can step into a more elevated way of correcting and aspiring our behavior. How do you recommend people sort of shake off shame for decisions of the past?
Well, first of all, I think it's an amazing question, an amazing observation. I was sort of kidding when I wrote this in Aspire Higher, but I'm all about no sins, just wins. And the reason why I say that is I mean, a certain amount of fear, a little bit of guilt, I get, and I think that can be very helpful. But you don't want to live in guilt and you don't want to live in fear. Those are very, what I would call low energies. They don't lift you. To me, the key is aspiring higher. Do things because they're the right things to do. Don't do things out of fear. Do things because you want to do the right thing. You want to be the best person you can be. You want to elevate others. It makes you feel great. Fear and shame make you feel badly.
Right. And feeling badly is what makes us cyclically repeat bad decisions. Because when you're feeling bad, you don't make good choices.
And you're not thinking on an evolved level either, because you're just afraid of getting caught. Well, does that mean if you don't get caught because your parents aren't around and you're in college or you're at school, you don't have to worry about fear because they won't find out and you wind up doing the same bad thing? No. The key is you want to value your life. You don't want to do the drug or smoke the cigarette or date the bad guy or the bad girl because you want something better for your life. You want to feel good about who you are. You want to feel good about your decisions because that empowers you. It motivates you to make more great decisions. So it's so important not to be motivated by fear. As I said, a little fear, yes, it's important, but you don't want to live with fear. That's not healthy.
Yeah, as they say in Dune, which is one of my favorite books, and there's a new movie out, fear is the mind killer.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about being a solutionary, and you talk about that in Aspire Higher, and that's something that resonates really strongly with us at the Optimist Daily because our goal is to put people back in touch with that solutions mindset because there's more solutions in the world than there are problems. It's just that you never hear about them and get that fear, that drumbeat of anxiety and fear and outrage can silence that aspect of ourselves. So I wanted to hear your discussion of what a solutionary is and what that means to you.
It's really interesting. I had heard, I believe it was my daughter, use the word solutionary. And I assumed that what a solutionary meant was somebody that finds really constructive solutions to problems. And I am all about that. I love the challenge of being a constructive decision maker, finding a solution to a problem that is really smart, that is great in the big picture, in the long term, all of those things. But when I looked up the term solutionary, as it turned out, a solutionary is defined, and I love this definition, as somebody that not only finds a constructive solution for themselves, but a solution that benefits others. That is much more of a big picture calling. Find things that will uplift others, that will also benefit yourself. So it is sort of a collective mindset. And I love that because not only am I proud of myself when I find a constructive decision to a problem, but I feel great when I can uplift others as well. It just fills my heart with empowering positive feelings to help others too. So if you can get that sort of double hit of high self-esteem, of figuring out what the best solution is for you, and also uplifting and elevating others, how great is that? So I think it's a wonderful, wonderful concept, and certainly one that can really elevate our country and our world.
Mhm.
Well,
And looking outside of
Yeah.
yourself and asking not just what you can get from a situation, but what you can give to it.
Well, I was going to say, so this is a time of year that is very poignant to a lot of people, right? And at the Optimist Daily, we have our sort of season of abundance and gratitude campaign where we're encouraging people to give the gift of optimism. Now, of course, for the purposes of the Optimist Daily, we would love folks to sign up to become emissaries or give the gift of an emissary membership on the Optimist Daily. But if I had a gift list, and maybe, Kristy, we need to have an Optimist Daily gift list, there is no question that Aspire Higher would be on this gift list. Ken, why is it important this time of year, specifically when people are feeling the way they're feeling, as well as through the gift-giving season, that we give gifts that lift and elevate?
Well, I truly believe that this is a time when, we slow down a little bit. We're with our families, hopefully, and
Finally, right?
yes,
Finally, we can be with
finally,
our families, maybe.
yes, what a blessing. But, we think much more about love and positivity and our blessings. And I just feel that Aspire Higher and making choices that instill positivity in your heart, that instill confidence that you can affect positive change in your heart, instilling optimism in your heart and inner peace in your heart. Those are all amazing things to feel during the holidays when we are loving, when we are appreciative, when we hopefully feel gratitude. And if you feel all those great things, as I said earlier in our discussion, you're far more likely to bestow love and positivity and respect onto others. And God, wouldn't that be great at a time when, we have so many challenges? So that's why I think it's so important. And then for the new year, I think that making positive life choices and putting our lives on a far better, more satisfying, more soul enriching track for the new year is so great. Jumpstart your life. New year, new me. And I really believe that the way you can do that is through the positive life choices that you make. And if I may, I just want to let everybody out there know that I'm really committed to this. And when I went to a traditional bunch of publishers.
Oh, I'm so glad you're going to tell this story, Ken. So, Kristy, just really quickly, Kristy and I have a little sheet where we cheat with one another, like during conversations to make sure we're in sync. And I was like, let's see if we can get personal with Ken to have him tell us how committed he is to this, because this is really amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, so for everyone out there, I've done books with traditional publishers through the years and also done variations. And when I wrote Aspire Higher, I finished it in August. And I went to traditional publishers and I got some really wonderful responses. But they said, this book will be great in a year and a half from now because we need an 18-month turnaround time. And I knew that they usually took a year or so, but I wasn't sure. Well, so they all basically said, we can't do that. We can't take on the book as much as we'd like to. So being somebody who loves to find solutions, as do the Optimist Daily team, I went to a publishing house that I'd used before who's wonderful. It's called Greenleaf. And they could get the book out in 4 to 5 months, which meant I could get it out for the holidays.
For a holiday.
And the challenge for me, though, was I had to pay for the editing, printing, and shipping of every single book. And I'm doing that. I have paid for every single book because I really want everyone to have the opportunity to have this book, to give the gift of love and positivity and life purpose, highest life purpose, at the holidays and for the new year. So that's what's happening. I'm paying for every book to be shipped everywhere around the country.
Ken, you've had a lot of success in your career. You've represented a lot of very auspicious talent on television and, newsmakers, and to have you stand up and say, I must, with my purpose and mission, get this out now, get this out to the world now, is just, it's powerful and it's impressive. And it's different than self-publishing, right? Because self-publishing, a lot of times it's a print on demand situation. There's not, it's a different framework. But to anyone who has ever been, working to get a book out there in the world, for you to have said that you would go ahead and sort of lead these costs in order to make it. And that's part of why the book cycle is 18 months, right? Is that there is so much cost involved in bringing a book to market. But we at the Optimist Daily are deeply honored that you have asked us to share selects of the book early, to interview you on the week of your publishing, release. We feel really, really lucky because you could have asked any number of big newsmakers to help you lead on this. And we are delighted to just kind of be in the fold. I think Kristy and I feel pretty special for it.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like
special. You are special. You're doing wonderful things. You really are. I have so much respect for you. So just know that.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you, Ken. I think we're getting to the point where we're starting to wind down.
Yes.
But
unfortunately, it's
true.
We can't talk for days.
You're a person, Ken, that's so full of sort of this hopeful spirit, and your life's work right now is focused on helping other people get inspired and get focused on their inner journey towards a higher purpose. But I'm wondering if there's anything specifically that you're starting to see that makes you feel a little jolt of optimism.
I'm very optimistic that we all want something better for ourselves. We just need the path to find it. We do. We want to enjoy our lives. We want to feel good about ourselves. And, we want to leave a better world for our children. Yeah. I know I've got 2 children and I am concerned right now. So I want a better world. I want a more collaborative world. I want a more peaceful world. I want a more loving world.
Is there somebody in particular that might be inspiring you right now?
Well, my family inspires me all the time to be the best I can possibly be. Mm-hmm. When you have children who, look at you as a role model, I do my best to be the best person I can be. And obviously my wife inspires me every day. And of course, even though my parents have passed on, I believe their spirits live on and I want them to be proud of me. But really, my family motivates me to be the best person I can possibly be. And I've always loved writing. And to me, my mission in life is to see what can be in others and give them the steps to help them make the choices to get there. And what we all spoke about in our first conversation was the fact that I was an overweight, late blooming, pretty challenged kid who's very insecure. And very few people believed in me. Luckily, I had a mom who believed in me, a sociology teacher who believed in me, and a tennis coach who believed in me, even though it wasn't fashionable. And I wound up coming around. And that's why I feel my mission in life, in turn, is seeing what can be and believing in the potential of others.
And I find it really beautiful that you're still playing tennis now. And that just shows you how how impactful a kind person or a guiding light one person can be for the next person, and that you can pay it forward in that way.
Absolutely. I love it. And that's what Aspire Higher is partially about. Elevating ourselves for sure through our life choices, but feeling great enough about ourselves that we want to elevate others, paying it forward.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to inspire. As I said, I sit with your book on my desk ever since it came, and I got an early copy because I'm so lucky. And I just keep opening it up, and I'm kind of using it as a journal jump for myself, that I open it up and think, what do I need to read today? And I've certainly read through, because we're delighted to be sharing chapters, but what do I need to read today? What do I need to learn today? It's a book you can go back to over and over, and you read something and then spend 5 minutes journaling, and you've done kind of what the Optimist Daily always reminds you to do, is find somebody who inspires you and spend a moment expressing with gratitude through journaling how that affects you and how you want your life to be. So, Ken, thank you for being here today. We didn't even dive into your massive resume and all of your education, all the things. So if you guys want to learn more about Ken, sign up to be at the Optimist Daily. You can be an optimist or an emissary, and you will receive a view on this upcoming Sunday. And if you are an emissary, you can search all of our past recordings and past views. We keep the Optimist Daily free to everyone who needs it, supported by those who can. So, Ken, we're going to make sure as many people as possible hear about Aspire Higher.
And should we just mention Ken's website?
Yes.
Where they can go and order the book and learn more about Ken, which is positivelifechoicepsychology.com. That's all one long word, but that's where you can go find the book Aspire Higher, as well as on many other booksellers.
Ken, thank you so much for being here. Everybody, thank you for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. We promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us.
And if you have the means and you haven't already become an emissary, please consider becoming one on the optimistdaily.com. And for starting at just $5 a month, you can help support reader-funded, independent journalism that is the Optimist Daily, and be a part of the solution-changing consciousness that addresses our world's biggest challenges with that problem-solving mindset. That's it for Friday. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week with more solutions.